In technology, one move can change the entire game. And that move was just made in Taiwan, and it's nothing short of a declaration of economic war, a ban on selling critical chip technology to China's tech champions, Huawei and SMIC. This isn't just another squabble in the ongoing tech rivalry. It's a formal policy shift that puts two of China's most important companies on the same strategic high-tech commodities export control list as organizations like the Taliban and Al-Qaeda. This is a precision strike aimed at the crown jewels of China's technological ambitions. The question is no longer if the world's tech supply chain will fracture, but how violently it will break. Will this cripple China's rise, or has the West just lit the fuse on a technological explosion it can't control? To get how big this is, you first have to understand the mind-boggling power of one small island. Taiwan, a democracy of 24 million people, is the undisputed king of semiconductor manufacturing, dominating over 60% of the global foundry market. But even that number is misleading. When it comes to the most advanced chips, the ones smaller than a virus that power everything from our AI to next-generation weapons, Taiwan produces over 90% of them. This dominance is almost entirely because of one company, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, or TSMC. TSMC doesn't design its own chips. It has simply perfected the art of building them for everyone else. It's a pure-play foundry, and it's decades ahead of its competitors. The phone in your pocket, the servers hosting this video, they almost certainly run on silicon forged in a TSMC factory. For years, this near monopoly was called Taiwan's Silicon Shield, the idea that its irreplaceable role in the world economy kept it safe. Taiwan played the part of a neutral workshop, selling to all sides. But the game has changed. These new export controls signal that Taiwan is done pretending to be neutral. The ban now requires Taiwanese firms to get a government permit before shipping any strategic high-tech goods that includes products, materials, or manufacturing gear to Huawei and SMIC. This move officially aligns Taiwan's policy with the United States, creating a unified front in the tech Cold War against Beijing. Taiwan is no longer just a workshop, it's a gatekeeper, and it has just picked a side. This didn't happen in a vacuum. The ban is a direct result of years of escalating tension. The US has long had its own sanctions on Huawei and SMIC, viewing them as security threats and extensions of the Chinese state. Washington has been leaning on its allies to do the same, trying to build a coalition to deny China access to the West's best technology. The final push for Taiwan seems to have been the realization that existing US controls had major loopholes. Despite the American sanctions, there were persistent accusations that China was still getting access to advanced tech through shell companies or other indirect means. By adding Huawei and SMIC to its own formal blacklist, Taiwan is moving to plug those gaps and make the blockade airtight. And the targets, Huawei and SMIC, aren't just any companies. They are the national champions of China's Grand Plan for Technological Independence, Made in China 2025. Huawei is the country's leader in AI chip design and telecom gear, while SMIC is its biggest and most advanced chip manufacturer. They are the heart of Beijing's dream to build a completely self-sufficient semiconductor industry. Cutting them off from Taiwan's technology is a direct assault on that dream, designed to slam the brakes on China's development of advanced AI, supercomputing, and military systems that could one day rival the West. The world is now at a fork in the road. This ban will send shockwaves through the global economy, and the outcome will likely follow one of two very different paths. Path A is the crippling blow. In this scenario, the ban works as intended. By cutting off access to TSMC's state-of-the-art foundries, the West effectively throttles China's ability to manufacture the high-end chips it needs for future tech. Huawei's AI chips, like its Ascend series, may be well designed, but without a top-tier factory to make them, they're just blueprints. SMIC has managed to produce 7-nanometer chips, a huge achievement on its own, but it's doing so with older, less efficient DUV lithography because it's blocked from buying the latest EUV machines. This means higher costs, terrible yields, with some reports suggesting a defect rate as high as 80% for certain AI chips, and a permanent technology gap with the cutting edge. In this future, China's Made in China 2025 plan sputters. The country might become self-reliant in older commodity chips, but it stays perpetually a generation or two behind the leaders. Its AI progress slows. Its military modernization is constrained, and its economy can't quite make the leap to a high-tech model. The tech world fractures into two spheres, one led by the US and its allies, with access to the best tech, and a second led by China, making do with good enough homegrown alternatives. The West, in this version of the story, successfully contains its main rival. Path B is the terrifying awakening. There is another far more unsettling possibility. History is full of examples of nations making incredible breakthroughs when backed into a corner. Think of America's race to the moon after the shock of Sputnik. These sanctions, now supercharged by Taiwan, could be China's Sputnik moment. Instead of crippling China, the blockade galvanizes it. Beijing, seeing this as an existential threat, pours hundreds of billions of dollars into its domestic chip industry. Self-reliance becomes a national crusade, pursued with a speed and focus that democracies can only imagine. We've already seen a preview of this. Despite years of sanctions, Huawei stunned the world by releasing a phone with a sophisticated 7-nanometer chip made by SMIC. It was a geopolitical earthquake, a sign that China was making real progress on its own. More recently, Huawei has unveiled ambitious roadmaps for its Ascend AI processors and plans for massive computing clusters that link thousands of them together, aiming to create a powerful alternative to NVIDIA's dominance inside China. In this scenario, the export controls backfire spectacularly. By kicking China out of the global system, the West forces it to build its very own. Chinese firms, with a guaranteed domestic market and the full backing of the state, innovate at a frightening pace. They master workarounds for DUV lithography, develop new chip architectures, and design systems that compensate for weaker individual chips with superior networking. This path doesn't lead to containment. It leads to the rise of a completely independent, resilient, and powerful Chinese tech ecosystem that no longer needs the West at all. No matter which path plays out, the old world is gone. The era of a single integrated global tech supply chain is over. We are now in an age of technological bifurcation, with two competing ecosystems taking shape. Taiwan's decision to blacklist Huawei and SMIC wasn't the first shot in this chip war, but it may prove to be the most decisive. It has solidified the alliances, drawn the battle lines, and forced everyone to think about which side they're on. Beijing has already condemned the move, vowing to take forceful measures in response and insisting it will not halt the mainland's progress. This brings us back to the unsettling question at the heart of it all. Did the West just successfully sideline its greatest technological competitor? Or did it inadvertently trigger the creation of a powerful, independent rival that the world will soon have to reckon with? The chip war is a complex and fast-moving story. If you want to keep up with the decisions that are shaping our future, be sure to subscribe for more deep-dive analyses like this one. Let us know in the comments which path you think is more likely.